The medical treatment of children who are undergoing cancer is only one component of their total therapy. And one of the most difficult things for them to do is to maintain a sense of normalcy and to have hope for the future.
Just because they've been diagnosed or they're fighting this disease doesn't mean that their life and their thrills should be any different than any other child out there. So, meanwhile their classmates and playmates from a month ago might be on the street riding their bike. It's equally as important, if not more important, that those that have been diagnosed or are fighting for their lives have the same opportunities inside the hospital.
We're ecstatic that this playroom is open and running and doing all the great things that it's doing. But to keep it this way, and that's probably the single greatest challenge that we have moving forward, is keeping it this way.
The best thing about the Kelly's Teen Playroom is it is a place where the kids with cancer can go and just be a kid.
Even before, Kelly got the diagnosis of cancer, she was, the fun kid on the block. She was very outgoing and always wanted to make sure that people knew that she was going to fight. Anything that she had to do, she was going to fight just as strong and as hard as she could. It was the fight of her life. During her course of therapy and multiple hospital stays, she kind of became a beacon of the children of the hospital. She always had a great attitude, even when she was sick and didn't feel well.
For somebody that's 12 years old, she did more in her days than many of us do with 80 years of life.
When she comes into the studio, she'd light up the room, and she was one of our best guests ever, and she would tell great stories about her and Lance and riding a bike and about her illness.
Even when she was sick and not feeling well, she would come in with energy and ideas, and she would interact in a very positive way with everybody.
She always wanted to make sure that everybody around her was having fun. The nurses actually kind of used her when the other children were not feeling well. They would always try to get Kelly into the playroom because Kelly would always liven things up. The other kids, she had such a positive attitude. And she knew, and I guess she probably learned that from Lance more than anybody, was attitude's everything.
I want to say hello to Kelly Davidson in 4 words. Kelly, we've been thinking about you. Stay strong.
I'll never forget down Thundercloud Subs on Riverside, and her being there, and really the radiance behind her. I mean, it was an encounter I'll never forget, and it's one that it was so strong that after she left, and after that day ended, I thought I have to find this young girl. So I called around the hospitals looking for this special little lady.
She was fortunate enough to meet Lance Armstrong early in her therapy, and they became very good friends, and he was just a regular guy to her. And she would always tell me, Mom, if he can have a foundation and do things for people with cancer, why can't I? She never asked for anything for herself. She always asked for the other kids and for the hospital itself.
The amazing thing that connected with us is when she wanted to raise money. She was sick, and one year she was almost too sick to ride on a tandem with Lance, and she just set out to raise the most money.
And her big thing was, we need to have the best toys. We don't need to just have any toys. We need to have the best toys. We need to have the best video games. We need to have the best everything in our playroom.
There is definitely a therapeutic value to having that playroom. The work of children is play. And when they spend 5, 6, 10, 12, 28 days in a hospital room where the environment is very artificial, the lights and people coming in and out and machines beeping and people awakening them every 4 hours to take vital signs. There's nothing normal about that. There's nothing normal that represents typical childhood. So when they're able to go to the playroom, they're able to go back to a bit of normal childhood.
I never ever want to be able to tell a child that I don't have a certain, if they want a craft and I don't have it today, I go and buy it today and I have it tomorrow. Main goal was to empower families dealing with cancer, but we weren't really sure how we were going to do that. We were given the opportunity when the new Dell Children's Medical Center was in the first planning stages to be able to sponsor the playroom on the hematology-oncology floor. Our board met, and we all were sitting there and deciding, this is a big commitment for us. Is this something that we're willing to do? And every one of us all looked up at the same time and said this would be her dream come true. So the decision was made, and now we run the activity room day-to-day basis in the Dell Children's Medical Center. We also do some outside functions with cancer support groups and help with education of new families diagnosed.
We've committed, we built it, helped fund it, all of that. We've committed to running it, so now we need to be here. We need to be here all the time, making sure that it continues for everyone, the folks that are here today and the folks that might be here in 5 years.
It's a wonderful way to remember Kelly and honor her and help other families as well.
The Kelly Davidson Foundation is an amazing thing because it really started out just as a group of people that wanted to create a legacy for a young girl that did a lot in her very short life. The playroom is there through the efforts of a lot of people, and that it's something that Kelly wanted. Then I think what the Kelly Davidson Foundation is amazing. What they've done is absolutely incredible.
There was something about that young woman that just said, hey, I'm special, and help me out, help me in my fight, help this cause out. And she was, if we could somehow bottle that up and put that into other people or put that into other situations, we would be a lot better off. And so she was a hero of mine at the time, and she still is today, and I'll never forget her for the rest of my life.
If Kelly would have survived and been here today, she would probably make it her life's work to work in the playroom every day.